Hey, what's up, guys? It's FaZe here, and today we will go over the best survivors, the best equipment, and the best skills to use against the Leviathan boss in Survivor.io. These tips will be useful for beginners and pros, free-to-play players and whales, because I have every single weapon at a red grade in the game, as well as just about every single red tech part besides the Quantum Polarizer. I've been really unlucky with it. As well as every survivor above level 80. In addition, we have multiple accounts, including free-to-play accounts, so we can test everything out, so you're in the right place. The best survivor to use in Ender's Echo is probably your strongest survivor, or the survivor that you have at the highest level. But if I had to recommend one, it would be Worm due to the listening bug skill right here. Unveils enemy weaknesses and increases their damage taken. This thing is pretty much like the high power bullet in a weapon skill slot. It will allow you to deal more damage to the boss, and the more you level it up, the more damage you can deal. I also like the common survivor due to this passive skill right here. You do not have to select this in battle either. It's called Pointless, plus 3% to all skill damage. And that's pretty self-explanatory. This passive skill will help your skills cause additional damage. Tsukiyomi and Catnips aren't too shabby either. The best weapon to use is the kunai. It will automatically target the boss with single target damage. You don't have to aim, you just have to get near it, and once you evolve it into the Spirit Shuriken, it can deal a lot more damage. This thing is insane against bosses. Next, we have the revolver, but it's very hard to use. I would never recommend that you try using it, but if you have this thing at a red grade, it can cause a lot of damage. I have been able to deal more damage than the kunai with the revolver, but like I said, it's very hard to do. It's very dependent on RNG as well. The evolved shotgun isn't bad either. The Gatling gun can cause a lot of damage to bosses. The light chaser can also be effective if you have it, as well as the void power weapon. And then we have the katana and the baseball bat following everyone else up in the back. The best equipment to use is probably your strongest equipment, the equipment that you have at the highest grade. That's what I'm doing right here. A lot of my equipment is just red eternal gear, and then we have red Void Waker treads. That's my strongest equipment, so that's what I'm going with, but we can get more in depth. Let's talk about everything else. The necklaces I like to use include the Eternal Necklace, which can increase your damage, as well as all passive effects in battle. I also like the Void Waker emblem here. You will gain Berserk for 5 seconds when leveling up, and that will increase your damage by 40%. So each time you choose a skill in battle, your damage will increase by 40%, and that's pretty insane. In addition, this thing has 2 other skills right here, the Excellent Grade skill and the Red skill. The lower your HP is, the higher your damage. Triggers below 50% HP, max 40% damage. And then the lower your HP is, the higher your crit rate. Triggers below 50% HP, max 40% crit rate. So this thing's pretty insane. Some people like to use the metal neck guard, but it's very RNG dependent. It has this skill right here that says first passive effect gain plus 30%, and then an epic skill, last passive effect gain plus 30%. This can be useful for multiple reasons. You can choose the high power bullet and increase the damage by 30%. You can choose sports shoes and increase your speed, which is very helpful with Void Waker treads if you're using them. And you can also decrease your cooldown if you grab the energy cube. Next, when it comes to gloves, I like Eternal gloves. I also like Void Waker handguards, army gloves, and leather gloves. Eternal gloves will increase your crit rate and crit damage by 100%. That's pretty nuts. Void Waker handguards will increase the damage that you deal to bosses by 50%. Epic army gloves can do this as well. Damage to elites and bosses increased to 50%. And even at an excellent grade right here, it says damage to elites and bosses plus 20%. And then we have leather gloves right here that will increase your crit rate, crit damage, as well as inflict bleed. When it comes to using armor, I like the Eternal Suit. It will revive you. Then after revival, your attack and movement speed will be increased by 15%. A legend grade Eternal Suit will revive you twice. If you don't have the Eternal Suit, the Full Metal Suit will also revive you, as well as increase your attack and movement speed. The Eternal Belt and Void Waker Sash will both increase the revival effect by 20%. They're both pretty lackluster, but you can also use the waist sensor if you are wearing red Void Waker treads. Speaking of red Void Waker treads, red Void Waker treads have a skill that says Predator. Increases proportionate damage against enemies with lower movement speed than you, and this can increase your damage by 50%. So I probably like these the most. Eternal boots aren't too shabby as well. They have a fire trail that can cause a lot of damage, and a lot of people swear by it, but it's limited. However, it is still very effective. And then we have epic light runners, which are also a great choice because they will increase your damage by 20% for 3 seconds after killing an enemy. And this boss has little mobs with with it so you can kill enemies and get a damage boost. When it comes to the best skills to use, evolving your weapon should be priority, as well as evolving both Type A and Type B drone into the Destroyer drone. Those are the best skills against bosses in the game. And then far behind them, we have the lightning emitter, as well as other single target skills like the RPG. So when you're fighting this boss, the first thing you're going to want to do is evolve your weapon and both drones. You're going to want to look for both of those. And if you're using Worm, make sure to grab the listening bug. When it comes to passive skills, you're going to want to use the Koga Ninja Scroll to evolve the kunai or make the biofuel a little more valuable so you can evolve your skills faster and find skills faster. You'll also want to find the high power bullet to increase your attack by a percentage, as well as the energy cube to decrease cooldown, the ammo thruster to increase flight speed and accuracy, and possibly sports shoes to increase your movement speed if you are wearing red Void Waker treads. The best strategy to use against this boss is very generic. You're basically going to want to die as soon as possible so you can revive for the revival effect. That's only if you're wearing the eternal suit or the full metal suit. So don't try to die if you can't revive. And once you die and revive, your movement speed and damage will be increased by a percentage. This boss has several skills. He will leave lasting damage on the ground, launch projectiles in every direction, rush at you, and trap you inside of a fence. In addition, there will be a lot of mobs that you can kill and loot from as well. So when facing this boss, make sure to employ a typical strategy, evolve your weapon, evolve the drones, utilize the revival effect, stick close to it, and keep on dealing as much damage as you can. All right, I guess we're done here. If you have any questions or tips, leave them in the comments below. I love you. I'll see you later.